When most people think of resolving disputes, tough legal disputes, they usually think of the courtroom where lawyers engage in an adversarial contest before a judge or jury. From Perry Mason to the People's Court, from L.A. Law to the Simpson trial, the image of that forum is etched in our minds. But litigation is only one way, and many believe it should be the last way to resolve legal conflict. Alternative processes are growing in popularity. Negotiation, conciliation, mediation, arbitration, processes that are often more efficient, more creative, and even more humane than litigation. The courtroom trial will always, and should always, play a significant role in society's dispute resolution landscape. But for most cases, it should be the alternative to our best efforts at settlement.
Good morning. My name is Peter Robinson, and I'll be serving as your mediator today. It's important that we take a...
In 1986, faculty at Pepperdine University School of Law caught a glimpse of the changes taking place in our judicial system. They realized that courts could not process and resolve the millions of cases taken to them each year. They understood that clients couldn't afford forever the cost of adversarial litigation, costs that in some cases exceeded the amount in controversy. They saw changes in the way lawyers would work in the future, moving from an adversarial to a broader problem-solving approach for their clients. In response, faculty laid the foundation for the most comprehensive and innovative law school dispute resolution program in the nation.
An issue, which is the subject matter of the negotiation.
The core focus of the Institute is its academic program, now offering 18 separate courses in dispute resolution. A professional certificate program is available, as well as the first master's degree in dispute resolution at an American law school. The Institute also engages in research and publication. In addition, the Institute moves beyond the classroom to provide continuing education and training, consulting assistance, and actual dispute resolution services. With a full-time staff and more than 24 full-time and visiting faculty, we offer programs and services in more than 20 states and several foreign countries every year.
By doing that, you need to really involve the client.
What began as an experiment in 1986 is much more than that today. We knew that legal education in the future would still include analysis, trial practice skills, and client representation. We also knew that lawyers will have to understand the expanding range of dispute resolution processes. It turns out that we were on the cutting edge. In fact, sweeping changes are already taking place. In addition to our academic programs, I'm pleased that the Strauss Institute is also serving individuals and organizations around the world. I'm confident that we're doing a great deal of good.
As farmers, our job is to make certain that we provide protection to those we insure. We've learned that when there's a dispute, the legal system is too costly and takes too long. That's why we turn to the Institute to train our personnel in negotiation and case settlement. After 3 years, it's become the way we do business.
As president of the largest real estate firm in the country, I'm well aware of the high costs of litigation. In just 4 years, our legal expenses increased from $500,000 to more than $5 million a year. Our future hinged on preventing and resolving conflict. Pepperdine's Institute brought us training for our people, systems for managing disputes, and help mediating pending cases. Their contributions can't be overestimated.
It's ironic that religious organizations would need assistance in managing conflict. Our values ought to enable us to resolve our own problems. But churches are no different than other organizations. They're composed of people with different perspectives and priorities. The Institute facilitated a year-long dialogue for us and mediated several very difficult disputes. They helped us work together as a community of faith.
From the beginning, the Institute has made it a priority to assist churches, community dispute resolution organizations, and other nonprofits. We provide training for the Ventura Center for Dispute Settlement. We provide consultation for the West Angeles Development Corporation in South Central Los Angeles. We've sent volunteer mediators to Nairobi, Kenya. We train federal judges on behalf of the Federal Judicial Center. We seek to serve those who also are committed to service.
As a lawyer, I can remember Chief Justice Warren Burger calling for major reforms of our judicial system more than a decade ago. He said that our system is too costly, too painful, too destructive, and too inefficient for a truly civilized people. He was right. And if we're going to change the system, we will need organizations like Pepperdine Strauss Institute to provide the kind of training and educational background that people will need. As a law professor and a university president, I'm convinced that a new day is coming when lawyers will need to be peacemakers and problem solvers, not just advocates.
This year, Jams End Dispute will provide dispute resolution services to more than 40,000 parties in 20,000 cases. The growth in the field is substantial, but the future depends upon lawyers, clients, administrators, and others being educated to use new processes. We chose Pepperdine's Institute as our national training source, and we're pleased that that relationship has created the foremost dispute resolution partnership in the nation.
After 27 years of practice with a national law firm, I'm convinced that lawyers must take the lead in providing clients with more expertise and skill in settling legal disputes. Now, lawmakers and indeed our clients themselves have their roles to play, but in the last analysis, it should be lawyers who bring the best dispute resolution services to their clients. The Strauss Institute has become a key resource for the legal profession, working with bar associations, private law firms, and corporate counsels across the nation to equip them with the kind of dispute resolution assistance that their clients seek.
We, the judges of the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, created the Western Justice Center in Pasadena in 1984. Its purpose was to create new forums for dispute resolution and new processes. One of our very first partners was the Pepperdine Institute for Dispute Resolution, which helped us to design a mediation model for regional governments to resolve costly disputes. Their work has been very innovative and very creative and a major contribution to the development of dispute resolution.
Peace in our families, in business, in our communities, in our society as a whole is not the absence of conflict. It is the result of being able to deal with conflict in ways that are fair and efficient and effective and respectful to those involved. At the Strauss Institute at Pepperdine, we're committed to promoting that kind of peace through value-oriented education and through services to business, to government, and to individuals. We're helping to move conflict from the courtroom to the conference room so that negotiation and settlement become the norm, and litigation, while sometimes necessary, becomes the exception.
We live in a country rich with all kinds of natural resources, but these resources are not boundless.
With all of the people who came here came congestion, air pollution.
Our lives depend on the air we breathe. Smog can cause all kinds of diseases. It comes from cars, trucks, and leaf blowers. No, it comes from exhaust. It doesn't smell very good either. When it's smoggy outside, it's just no fun to play.
We have to change the way we live. Because it's the choices we make and the products we buy.
Pollution-free transportation is what we need.
We could carpool.
We all have to get behind something.
We should try to leave the world better off than we found it.
With plenty of fresh air.
The solution's all around us. We're the solution. What we really have to do is we all have to work together.
Blue skies.
Clean air. We're in it together.
So, Grandpa, you came up here when you were a kid?
Uh-huh. Back in the Stone Age.
Chasing dinosaurs?
Oh, this is a good spot for a lookout.
Cool. You okay, Grandpa?
Sure. Just catching my breath.
Okay. Wow. Look at that. Boy, you could see a lot from up here if there wasn't so much smog.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Gee, look at the traffic.
Bet they're not having much fun.
Really? Why can't they do something about the smog?
They?
Yeah, I mean, if people can see it, why can't they clean it up?
If I could, I'd protect you from the sadness in your eyes, give you courage in a world of compromise. Yes, I would, if I could. If I in a time and place where you don't want to be, you don't have to walk along this road with me. My yesterdays don't have to be your way. If I knew, I'd have tried to change the world I brought you to, and there isn't very much more that I can do, but I would if I
It takes skill to visualize, to see in the present what in the future will become a defining landmark. It takes vision to see past the structures and impediments, courage and creativity to overcome complacency, to explore where we've been and who we've become in order to navigate the future. And it takes trust and support.
Claiborne School stands at a crossroads in its growth and tradition. Over 70 years ago, we began as a small private educational institution dedicated to providing value-centered schooling to Christian Science families. The first buildings, constructed in 1931, remain today a vital part of our campus.
Every age faces need for progress and change. When it was built in 1969, the Gardner Building reflected the best architecture and education philosophies of the time. And for nearly 3 decades, it served the campus very well. Janice Elmore works in the business office at Claiborne. She attended Claiborne for 11 years, graduating from 8th grade in 1975. She's been a vital part of the Claiborne community since 1964, when she was enrolled in nursery as a 3-year-old. Her 3 children are students at Claiborne today.
I was a Claiborne student when the Gardner Building was constructed, so modern and open classrooms. We used the building for chapel, assemblies, and graduation activities.
But by the 1980s, Claiborne School had grown, and the Gardner Building could no longer meet campus needs. So in 1984, Claiborne launched a capital campaign called Building for the Future. The multi-purpose building is now the architectural centerpiece of Claiborne's campus.
We use it for sports, the science fair,
plays and productions,
book fairs and fundraisers,
assemblies and all school programs,
morning chapel,
and concerts.
The multi-purpose building is truly an abundant campus resource and frees Claiborne to now develop the West Campus and provide the school with unity and cohesion as never before.
Since the construction of the multipurpose building, the Gardner Building is no longer used for community and school-wide events. Interior walls were constructed to permit privacy for classroom use. But sadly, the building is not energy efficient, difficult and expensive to heat and air condition. Maintenance costs continue to skyrocket, and to make matters worse, the roof leaks.
This aerial photo shows the current campus configuration. Each element of the master plan has been thoughtfully conceived. The main objective is to move the children's play yard inside the campus perimeter, where it will be surrounded by a network of new modern classrooms, a state-of-the-art developmental learning complex. The current play yard west of the Gardner Building is peripheral to the flow of campus activities. It's a passive yard with outdated play technology. And there are potential security problems.
The new concept for the West Campus will feature a centralized play yard that is bordered on the west by a network of classrooms, each specially designed for a particular age, serving 1st through 3rd grade. These are the pivotal years in a child's development, where children learn to explore, trust, and grow. Classrooms include unique outdoor academic patios and open directly onto the new play yard, an asset for learning, supervision, and security.
The new play yard will be central, not peripheral, to the campus design. It will apply the latest developmental education outdoor equipment which promote interaction, cooperation as well as competition, imagination, and the development of psychomotor skills. These new play structures are unlike play areas of the past. Students learn by doing. Also, since use of the play yard and classroom are integrated, learning doesn't stop when it's time for recess. It's truly a dynamic environment, a haven for education and exploration.
Not only will the play yard's central location enable young students to be more a part of the campus, but moving the location of the play yard to the campus interior will improve security, safety, and supervision, because the area west of the Gardner Building was intended as a buffer for landscape and campus beautification, not student use. Adjacent to the Gardner, you see the kindergarten building, which was originally used during the 1930s and 40s to serve as the residence of the headmistress. Since that time, it has functioned as school library, art room, 1st grade classrooms, and Cougar Corner. By removing these buildings and reconfiguring the West Campus, Claiborne will at last have a main entrance for improved parking, better safety during drop-off and pickup times, and campus identity along Huntington Drive, where the school and community interface is at its maximum. Architect Rudy Serrar.
Early in my career in designing educational facilities, we realized the business of education was constantly changing, creating challenges and opportunities, none greater than in the 90s. It's these challenges and opportunities that we are addressing head-on in the Claiborne School West Campus Master Plan. The West Campus Master Plan will consider retiring existing, outdated buildings, some of which were never intended to be used as classrooms. Overall, a campus improvement for a stronger scholastic and physical education.
The backbone of the Claiborne family community has always been the family. We pride ourselves on succeeding generations maintaining an active involvement. That's why projects such as the multipurpose building and the West Campus become so successful. These goals are necessary, and we count on our families for their support.
One of Claiborne's greatest strengths has been our ability to demonstrate solutions by appealing to our community members. As Christian Scientists, we understand how each of us is integral to the fulfillment of our purpose. The new West Campus will transform Claiborne and give it a cohesion that will serve us well for many generations. The development of the West Campus will not only unlock much of the potential for improved land utility, it makes sound financial sense, now and for the future.
We appeal to you for your support in making these visions reality. Our needs and financial requirements are very real.
The West Campus transformation marks a pivotal crossroads in the dynamic master plan of Claiborne School. Every change to the campus has been built upon the foundation of past success and has planted the seeds for future developments. Claiborne always has been, and always will be, a manifestation of guiding educational principles. The quality of students, families, and educators bespeak the character of the Claiborne community. Claiborne School is blessed with jewels of nature and human inspiration, from groves of ginkgo trees to the magnificent headmaster's manor, from state-of-the-art learning centers to full-size recreational facilities, filled with educators who care deeply that students receive exposure to the finest education possible in an environment that truly maximizes learning. This project will surely become the crown of the campus. Thank you for joining with us as we journey through our exploration to fulfill the creative potential of Claiborne School.
These are the images of telephonic communication. And these are the images of art. These artists are communicating with us in their own unique way. Here are works that are stimulating, beautiful, provocative, disturbing, engaging. They did not arrive from a vacuum in the 20th century, but rather they are the extension of a long continuum of Western art and a long tradition of patronage. The church was active in fostering the arts. Patronage was continued by royalty. In the last century, industrialists in this country became active in collecting and commissioning artworks. Museums then became a major force in collecting art. Even government has played a role. Recently, American corporations have joined in encouraging artists. Against this background, General Telephone is taking the move to Thousand Oaks as an opportunity to decorate its new building in a tasteful way, and at the same time, support emerging California artists.
As all of you know, our company is in the field of communication. The artist, in his or her own style and medium, is also in the field of communication. Given these similarities of purpose and our responsibility as corporate citizens, we feel it's very appropriate and fitting that we continue to support the cause of the arts in our communities. We hope that everyone who visits these offices, including our employees, will enjoy this art collection.
Hi, I'm Jackie Massey. I work in network engineering as a transmission and protection engineer. However, I also volunteer at the California Museum of Afro-American Art in Los Angeles. I am very pleased to see that General Telephone has taken an interest to stimulate its employees in the wide world of art. I am very pleased to be a part of that, and I know our employees will enjoy it as much as I have in the past.
We not only provide quality communication services and products, but we're also very involved in the cultural life of our community. We're enthusiastic about the future of this collection. We foresee classes, visiting artists, and new exhibits, and we welcome your participation in all of these activities.
The front of the piece deals directly...
To help give us some insight into the works in the GTE collection, here is artist Laddie John Dill in an interview with art consultant Charles Mitchell.
The predominant material in all of these pieces is cement and polymer and plate glass. The reason I use that material is because I based a whole color system on the oxidation of cement materials. It's not as complicated as it sounds. It's very similar to a similar geological phenomena called leaching, or in construction they call it effervescence. That's where the limes and alkalis in the material rise to the surface as the water evaporates, and I can control the whole value system or the chromatic system based on this oxidation. A good example of this would be this area in here, where the lower areas of the painting are the lightest, and that's where the cement oxidized because of the lower pools of water that were sprayed onto the cement as it cured. This area in here uses the same process with a red iron oxide material under it, and then this is pure oil paint in here. Something I might mention is that most of these pieces in the studio are made for site-specific situations. In other words, they're made expressly for an area. I feel that this is important to the work because the architecture itself becomes a framing device for the piece. A good example of a site-specific work would be the one over at General Telephone, or the one that you see here, which is a model of that piece. What I do is measure out the space that it's going to go into very carefully and draw it out on my wall in scale, and then build the model, and then from there we build a large piece. The final result of this is the work that is a combination of the sculpture and the painting, but also its interaction with the architecture, and I hope that these pieces actually work together with the architecture. I mean, they become an interesting point within the architecture, but they also use it as a framing device.
We view the collection as a contribution to the cultural life of our community as well as to our employees. Our new building here in Thousand Oaks provides a beautiful backdrop for art, particularly the art of budding California artists. Some of the works to be placed here cost a lot more than most of us could afford for our own homes, but at least for 8 hours of each working day, we'll have a chance to view them.
In our technological age, the products of the artists are among the last handmade things on Earth. And as we learn more about early civilization, we have come to believe that it is the things man has created which have lasting importance. So, the continuum of communication goes on. The past and present speak to us through our art.
It's been very exciting for us to become involved with these young artists and to learn more about their works. And now we invite you to enjoy and experience firsthand the General Telephone Art Collection.
My car is on the cutting edge of innovation, and I want it to stay there. I can imagine this car getting 500 miles to the gallon, and me driving from Los Angeles to New York on 1 tank of gas.
I want cars to be smoother and more powerful and never have to visit the gas pump. I want to determine my lifestyle, not have my car determine it for me.
I see myself driving into a whole new future of cars, where we don't even use oil, no gas. They'll be made of environmentally friendly materials. It'll be like nothing we've ever seen before.
Well, what about the future of the Prius? I envision the Prius to be able to drive on sand, on snow, and on streets, and to recharge on the electrical energy that surrounds us.
I imagine it to be able to respond to the environment and harness free energy from the air and the wind.
How about a self-charging hybrid that visits the gas station maybe once a year?
Toyota's efforts in hybrid technology are the core of our long-term efforts to reduce the environmental impact of motor cars.
You know, in the world we live in, or the world I work in, we're really always on the cutting edge of what's available from a technological point of view.
Our analysis of component cost said that although the full hybrid system was somewhat more expensive, the benefit was enough greater that that was the direction of development that we chose to follow.
Hybrid technology can be applied to many different types of powertrains beyond gasoline, including diesel and even fuel cell.
Hybrid Synergy Drive is our opportunity to let consumers know that not all hybrid powertrains are equal. Hybrid Synergy Drive represents the very best in terms of hybrid technology that consumers can buy.
Whenever we see something that's possible into the future, we look for enabling technologies that will really allow that to occur.
Our goal when we design a vehicle is to make it operate as seamlessly as possible.
Toyota has been granted over 600 patents on the 2 generations of hybrid drives, about 300 patents discrete to the Hybrid Synergy Drive, about a little over 300 patents on the original Toyota hybrid system.
The technology makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of people. It makes sense for a lot of ways people use vehicles, and there are going to be a lot more hybrids in a lot of people's driveways.
Limits to hybrid technology in the future are only limited by our imagination.
Toyota's efforts in hybrid technology are the core of our long-term efforts to reduce the environmental impact of motor cars.
You know, in the world we live in, or the world I work in, we're really always on the cutting edge of what's available from a technological point of view.
Our analysis of component cost said that although the full hybrid system was somewhat more expensive, the benefit was enough greater that that was the direction of development that we chose to follow.
Hybrid technology can be applied to many different types of powertrains beyond gasoline, including diesel and even fuel cell.
Hybrid Synergy Drive is our opportunity to let consumers know that not all hybrid powertrains are equal. Hybrid Synergy Drive represents the very best in terms of hybrid technology that consumers can buy.
Whenever we see something that's possible into the future, we look for enabling technologies that will really allow that to occur.
Our goal when we design a vehicle is to make it operate as seamlessly as possible.
Toyota has been granted over 600 patents on the 2 generations of hybrid drives, about 300 patents discrete to the Hybrid Synergy Drive, about a little over 300 patents on the original Toyota hybrid system.
The technology makes sense. It makes sense for a lot of people. It makes sense for a lot of ways people use vehicles, and there are going to be a lot more hybrids in a lot of people's driveways.
Limits to hybrid technology in the future are only limited by our imagination.